Hello, Antonia Rolls here again. I'm doing a series of small videos on navigating the landscape after the loss of somebody we love via addiction, overdose or suicide. I lost both my sons to suicide and addiction, and it's an unfamiliar landscape, and I wish that so many of us didn't have to walk it, but we do. I want to talk about the light today because it feels counterintuitive, I think. When we are in so much despair, we have lost someone we love to suicide and or addiction and or overdose. There is something so wrong about that death. And we who are left have survivor's guilt. How the hell do we go on from here? How do we come to terms with the fact that they are not here anymore? Their lives were so awful, and then their deaths were so awful, and then what? It's just hell all the time. Hell on earth, hell after death, hell, and we're in it. I think that the darkness, we have to be in the darkness after something like that. We have to be, because you can't come through something like that without feeling every negative, painful feeling, without walking on coals of fire, without your heart being broken and ripped out at the same time. You can't get through something like the loss of a child, a spouse, a parent, a loved one like this without suffering. We suffer a lot. And I know there are many of you that are watching this right now who are suffering a lot. And it feels pointless, hopeless, and it feels as if, why you? Why if you're just wanting to get on with your life, you're doing the best you can, why have you been singled out for this trauma and this terrible thing? Well, I don't know. I don't know that. But I do know that the darkness you're in is going to be a battle for you. It's a battle for me. I lost both my sons, as I've said, one aged 27, one aged 29. And the battle against the darkness is very profound, but we have to do it, and it is a battle. And a battle implies a fight, and the fight is because the darkness that takes us over makes us feel that there is no light and there never has been any light, and that we are somehow singled out to suffer like this because we are useless and wrong and wicked, and the things we did in the past and how we brought up our child, how we behaved in the relationship with the one we love and have lost, somehow we are responsible for that death because we should have done something else. Now, that's the way our minds go, but it isn't true. And I understand if you're right in the middle of it, those words don't mean anything, because words don't reach easily any of us when we are battling, fighting the war of darkness and not believing in the light. But the light, I say, is always there. The light never went away. And when we're in this darkness and we're filled with all the words that you can imagine, despair, loss, pain, anguish, but we're also filled with fury and regret and anger and horror, and we cannot be calmed. Nothing can stop us from this downward spiral. Yes, we have to do that, but at all times, I say, remember, try and remember that the light is always there. The light is our ally. Because despite all this pain and anguish, You are allowed to feel joy, and you are allowed to recover, and you are allowed to be okay. At some point, you are allowed these things. You don't have to be in darkness for the rest of your life, though you may feel you want to be, or you may feel you deserve to be. I say, well, if that's your decision and you choose to do that, great. But keep in mind that should you choose not to do that, or at any time you change your mind, the light is there. And I say, when we're in the darkness and we don't know how to find the light, and we've got this vague memory that the light is there, find a source of light and look at it. It might be a candle, it might be a reflection on a piece of metal, it might be a spot of daylight, it might be your electric light, it might be the reflection in my glasses, these little tiny spots here. It might be anything, but it is the light. Because remember this, if you are in a light-filled room and the light is so bright and there's a tiny spot of darkness somewhere, you won't really notice it. You just don't really know it's there because you're looking at the light. But if you are in a black space and there is only darkness around you and a tiny pinprick of light shows, you notice it and your eyes go to it and you focus on it because it is stronger than the dark. So this light that we're looking for, it's like a circuit breaker because of the demons that go around and round in our heads when we've lost someone and we're in such deep despair. The light is like a circuit breaker. It just puts a kind of stop in the circuit of doom and horror that we are in. And in that few seconds of putting a circuit breaker in, we have the chance to breathe. We have the chance just to take a breath and to think, oh, okay. It takes time for the light to win through. And in our lives, there will always be light and dark. There will always be moments of light and moments of dark in a general, existence. But when we are in absolute darkness because someone we love has died through suicide or died through overdose or addiction or had a lonely, lost, terrible death somewhere which torments us because we feel they should be alive, we should have done something. Somehow, when all this settles, and it will settle if you allow it, and some people don't want to allow it, that's fine. Some people want to be in this position, this state of mind forever. And I understand that because sometimes this kind of despair is the last thing we have of the person we've lost. We don't want it to go away because it's the last connection we have with them is our despair at their loss. That's fine. But I feel that life is too important for us to be despairing forever. And I think that everyone that dies leaves us a gift. And when the dust settles and the mist clears, it's important to know what that gift is. Because maybe one day when you feel calmer, should you choose to be that way, someone will come to you and you will be the only person who can give comfort to that person who's come to you because you've experienced so much bleakness and darkness. For example, one of my brothers, after my youngest son's death, the gift that was left to him was the Samaritans. He's gone to the Samaritans and he works days and nights at Samaritans, bringing whatever comfort he can to the people who call in. That's a really big deal. I am so proud of him, and I'm grateful to my son because my son died, but there are more than one person, there is more than one person in this country who may well have not died because they phoned the Samaritans and talked to my brother. Do we deserve this pain? Well, It's not a question of deserving. When we're alive, pain happens. We cannot avoid it. It feels, if we're just nice people and we're trying to get through the life the best we can, it feels completely out of all bounds that we should suffer so much as we are when we are bereaved like this. And actually, you know, bereavement is bereavement, loss is loss. There's no competition in loss. You know, if we're feeling loss and grief, we're feeling it, and it's hard. But when we have to come to terms with a suicide, with an addiction death, with a lonely, bleak, squalid death somewhere with, in the darkness, it feels like we're being punished for something. And we're not. We're not being punished for anything. But we're being given this incredible, hard lesson experience in our lives. And sometimes, though this seems trite to say it, it's not so much what happens to us, it's what we do about it. And why I'm speaking like this is because I want to say that should you be suffering and you want to look for the light and you choose to look for the light, it is there for you and it is your ally and it will help you, because you are allowed joy and you are allowed peace and you are allowed to stay on this earth without guilt and shame, and you are allowed to continue to love your lost one with all your heart, and at some point to forgive yourself and to forgive them and to just find peace, because like I say, maybe one day you are the only person who can help someone else, because you know what it's like to suffer and to come through. Finally, this is one of my paintings for my coming exhibition, Beloved, which is about bringing suicide, addiction and overdose deaths into the light. And this one is called The Light. And in this painting, this lady has just arrived. She's one of the lost souls who isn't lost, because she's come into the light and she's just arrived and she's sort of looking around and she's got a cigarette because she's not quite sure where she is. This fella has arrived bringing all his worldly goods on his shopping trolley. And this fella up here is called Jay, and his mum, Christine, sent Jay's picture to me and asked for him to be included, and of course he will be. The names of the other people who were included in the Beloved exhibition are Kostya, Dimitri, Kieran, Edward, James, Joe, Reese, and there's somebody else who I hold very, very strongly in my heart. I won't say his name because I haven't permission from his mum, but he's held very, very beautifully in my heart too. So anyway, look for the light. It's always there. It loves you. It cares. And life doesn't have to be dark forever. God bless. More soon.